Al, we thought this week would just be a normal week and we would just talk about some stuff, nothing too wild or out of the blue would happen.
Right?
But then that was definitely not the case this past Tuesday.
No, no,
Definitely not.
no.
So we're gonna talk about a little bit about that
Mm-hmm.
and some other stuff as well.
Yes.
Here on episode, what is this, 265 of the seasonal anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Owl and Ladium.
Hello.
And yeah, we're going to talk about some news and an
News.
old game.
News.
Yep, that's the news song.
Yep. Sure is.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Nothing quite like waking up and learning, hey, Microsoft bought a new studio, and you're just like, whatever, it's probably something, some small studio, whatever.
Nope.
No, it's Activision Blizzard.
Yep.
You're just like, well, excuse me?
So my friend Phil tweeted something earlier and I retweeted it because it basically just summed up my entire thought process on this.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, time to check Twitter one more time for heading to work. Surely no big game industry news in the last 5 minutes. And then it is an angry little cinnamon toast crunch. It says, what the cinnamon toast is this? And that was really just how I felt when I saw that this morning. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard.
Well, to be
They're
fair,
buying.
they have not bought them yet. They are
They're
looking to acquire them. This is pending, things going through, potential government intervention maybe.
yeah. Their intention is to buy.
Yes.
How's that wording?
That seems a little bit better. The deal is for almost $70 billion,
I can't even wrap my head around that.
which is a lot of money, but that gives them, everything that's under the Activision Blizzard umbrella, including Activision and all their properties, Blizzard and all their properties, King Games, which is like Candy Crush, so that's a big moneymaker in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, and
And
I don't know, Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, like all of the back catalog that they have and all that sort of stuff, which is it's a lot.
It's a
It
lot.
is a lot. But of course, this all comes under, the scrutiny of, Activision Blizzard having all of the problems that it's been having over the past year or so. And it's
Well, it's come to light in the last year or so.
it's come to light in the last year. Yes, you're right.
These issues have been going on for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah. It sure is some news.
Yep.
Um I saw Jason Schreier talking about antitrust laws.
Mm-hmm.
Are these going to become relevant? And I saw some very very angry humans on the tweeters.
Shocking.
Shocking. And I mean, the big thing that everybody was asking when this news came out is, well, what about Bobby?
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted to know about Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still would like some confirmation 100% on what's going to happen, but
the original news that was talked about was he was going to stay on throughout, I guess the rest of it until the deal becomes official, which potentially, if it does, it's a year and a half from now or something.
yeah.
But there's more reporting that's been coming out more recently that says if the deal goes through, eventually he is, once the deal, if it goes through, once it's official, he's gone.
Yeah.
They're cutting ties with him pretty much immediately, which makes sense because I think the Microsoft news briefing about it talked about how all of Activision Blizzard would just basically go to report to Phil Spencer.
Yes, that's what they said.
So I would assume he probably would not want to keep him around.
I mean, you
If
don't
you
really
want to
need
keep the goodwill of Microsoft going.
right. Like you don't want people to be upset. Um, you also don't need two CEOs there.
No.
Um, and like that would be a good way to. And I know this is like capitalism at work, but that would be a good way to be like, look, we're doing something about this problem.
Yeah.
Hi, and like try and get like some goodwill back towards Activision Blizzard
Hmm.
and their properties. Um, I mean, it's smart. He's still gonna walk away with like a metric butt ton of money,
Oh yeah, 100%.
like a metric butt ton. Like people talk about golden parachutes. That dude definitely has a golden parachute.
Hmm.
Um, it's amazing how you could just be like an absolute person and just get paid for it.
It seems like it happens a lot.
A lot. Not just in gaming, but like
Everywhere.
it's everywhere. Terrible. I hate it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. What do you think about this?
Seems bad in the fact that we are inching further and further into like monopolistic territory.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's people who are like, oh, this doesn't seem like a monopoly. I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, you are off your rocker for one, but also like this is just like the Microsoft stuff when they had been acquiring a lot of studios was like, you know, people were raising some red flags here and there, being like, like, hey, this can be good for some studios, but like them going out and just like in terms of like grabbing so many studios, like seems like it could potentially lead us down a bad road. And
Then there was the Bethesda.
yeah, Bethesda being like one of the big ones that kind of really started setting off red flags, and now them buying out like the biggest third-party publisher
Yep.
is not a good precedent
No.
for the
No.
industry as a whole. It's like if you want
No.
healthy competition and like the industry to like be good and everything, you don't want everything to conglomerate under one banner.
No.
You don't want
That's
to
how.
become
That's
the Disney of
Disney.
video games.
I was literally about to say Disney.
um so yeah, like I think there's going to be potential like people are going to look into this. Whether or not
Yeah.
they actually do anything about it is the other question, which I would be shocked if actually anything comes of that.
Same. I'd be
Because
absolutely shocked if anything happened.
I feel like the government, like the FTC, is going to just like look at it and be like, we don't care. Who cares? What's a video game?
Does this have anything to do with like violence in video games? No, we're not interested.
Yeah, we
Get
don't
out of
care.
here. Is Facebook involved? No. Okay.
Whatever. We don't
But
care.
also we're also gonna look the other way on Facebook though.
Yeah. Um, this doesn't solve the problems of Activision Blizzard.
No, it does not.
Like if they want to actually clean Activision Blizzard up, they're going to have to do a lot of work to clean Activision Blizzard up.
And I feel like that's something that should have maybe been mentioned in like their press statement of like, hey, we're gonna do some work to like turn things
Yeah.
around and get some goodwill back with the consumers or something like that. Like you don't just get Activision Blizzard and not address everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
And like they've got to do a big clean sweep and they've got to do a lot of changes in terms of like the atmosphere there and the working environment. Like this is not an overnight fix.
No.
Unfortunately.
And this is like it also feels like, like we are also going to sweep under the rug that like there's multiple teams under the Activision Blizzard umbrella right now that are striking and have been striking for weeks now.
Right.
And like this is going to be like, oh, whatever, who cares? Da 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 da. Like there is a lot of work that needs to be done here if this goes through and if they want to clean up things to make it not just a complete show.
I feel like the thing I'm worried about, and I'm almost fairly certain this is what's going to happen, is that like Bobby sucks and he needs to be out, but I'm afraid they're going to like scapegoat and be like, oh, look, Bobby's out, so everything's fine now.
Yeah.
And like, that's not the case.
No, like this is definitely not just a one person deal.
Mm-mm. No,
This is
I mean,
a, systemic problem that has infiltrated the entire company, and like, it's a problem within the entire industry as well. Like you can't just scapegoat one person and be like, job's done, we did it. Like that's not
world
how this
peace,
works.
everybody.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not how this works. And so like there's got to be a lot of cleanup that happens, and I'm sure that it's going to be a real rough thing to do if they actually do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm mainly just worried they're going to be like, "Oh, look, we got rid of Bobby. We did things. Aren't you proud of us? Yay!"
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see what happens.
It's entirely a possibility.
It is.
Um, I guess if you want to talk about this as from a game's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
how long do they wait to make Activision Blizzard games Xbox exclusive games? Or do they do that for all of them? Like, I feel like you can't do that for Call of Duty. Like,
You
it makes
can't.
too much money on other platforms to be able to do that. I mean, like, obviously the other platform would be the PlayStation, because you could still put it out on PC with Game
Mm-hmm.
Pass there. But I don't think it would be a smart business decision to do that. But I think if you wanted to do like the Blizzard stuff, like I don't think that would be a big deal. Like, oh no, Overwatch is Xbox exclusive now. I don't think people would be that up in arms about it.
I think that that's probably the case that like that kind of stuff will be Xbox exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like there was some talk even with Bethesda when this happened. There was some stuff that's like, oh, this will be on other consoles, and I'm like, but all this other stuff, it's only for Xbox. Like that's definitely gonna be the case. They're not gonna buy Activision Blizzard just to like do everything multi-plat, but you have to with Call of Duty, I think.
Yeah, I mean Minecraft is still multi-platform,
Yes.
so there is precedent there. But like the Bethesda stuff has obviously been a different thing because they had to like honor some deals that had been made prior to the acquisition, but then
Mm-hmm.
they were like, going forward, all that stuff's on Microsoft platforms.
Right.
But like Call of Duty is such like a big entity that I can't see them actually just being like, no, that's ours now. We're not gonna get all this money from Sony and everything, and all the Sony people who play on that hardware, which is probably the place where most people play Call of Duty,
Yeah,
I would presume.
I would presume.
So I don't see like why you would do that. But again, everything else I think would be fair game. I wonder if they would do like a separate or like introduce a new tier of Game Pass that would just be like, you get Game Pass and also a subscription for World of Warcraft,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Wild.
another thing that probably needs some addressing at some point
Yeah.
with how much of a
Yeah.
mess that game is.
Yeah. How about that? Oh boy, there's a lot of work there.
There is a lot of work there.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Microsoft to unveil their new mascot, Crash Bandicoot,
Oh, right, right.
which would be very funny.
That would be funny. What a troll move that would be.
But yeah, that
Man.
was a wild thing to wake up to.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. I like the very first thing that I did when I saw it was send it to you, and I knew you were asleep, but I figured that like as soon as you woke up you'd see it. So
I'd be like, huh? Excuse me? It's not April Fool's yet.
no, no, it's Jared's birthday eve. Here you go. Um
Great. Happy birthday to me.
Microsoft's trying to buy Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, it's just what I always wanted.
Yay!
Oh, man. The worst part about anytime we see, like, acquisition news or anything like that is that, like, the other side of the console war will be like, well, this company's got to get this other company now, too.
Yeah.
We got to go tit for tat.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people being like, oh, Sony's got to go buy Square or something like that. And it's like, that's stupid. Don't stop. Shut up.
Don't encourage this.
Stop.
There was something else that I know we'd be early. Oh, there were a bunch of like Sony dudes on a lot of the things. They're like, oh yeah, they gotta buy the studios so they could have AAAs because they can't make their own like Sony. I'm like, I, you don't understand how this works, do you?
No.
No, you don't understand. Please stop, sir. Also, like console wars, man. There's so much more that you could put your energy into. Like, God, stop giving a about it, please, people.
Mm-hmm.
None of these companies care about you. None of them. They don't care if you defend.
Zero.
They don't care. They
They
don't
just want
care about
your money.
money. Secret money. um. So yeah, stop defending major corporations on Twitter, people.
If only that would be a thing.
Yay! Are we having fun yet?
No.
What do you want to talk about? Something actually fun?
Are we going to talk about something that's actually fun?
Yeah, Mario 64.
Well, I guess we're not talking about anything that's going to be fun.
Don't lie to the people. Don't lie to the people.
I would never lie to the people.
Lie to the people.
So yeah, we played a bit of Super Mario 64 over the weekend. By we, I mean I played it and Al was watching and telling me where to go, and I was also not going in the way that you're supposed to play the game.
Nope, you were not at all doing it the way you're supposed to play the game, but that's
Because
fine.
I am a Mario expert. I would like everyone to know that and, you know, put
I'm
that
still,
on record.
I'm still so mad about those things that you did. I'm still so mad about them. How?
Well, there is one way to describe that, and that is get good. And I have
Wow.
already gotten good
Wow.
as a
Wow.
Mario expert.
Get out of here. Don't get good me. Don't you get good me.
Oh man.
Get out.
So we basically were playing this because like we were just wanting to hang out and chit chat. And I've never played through Mario 64 in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimately.
But
Well, I still haven't, but like I know I've seen enough of the game and I know the stuff about it. We played a good chunk of it.
we did.
When we played it. So we just want to talk about it regardless. And we didn't have to wait to finish it and all that because it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
I've played it like a little bit here and there. I had the Super Mario 64 DS version,
Oh God.
but I don't remember anything from that. I think I played it
It
a
was-
little bit. It was just like, eh.
It was not a good version.
So this is me coming to it obviously through a 2022 lens, and also like knowing about it through osmosis and everything, and watching playthroughs of it and speed runs and all that sort of stuff. So like this isn't like, oh wow, this is the first time I've seen Super Mario 64. It's like, no, I know about this
Right.
game. I know how this is. I know how the camera is and all that sort of stuff. This is nothing new to me.
In contrast, there's me who got this with my launch 64.
So you were the
and-
person who got to experience this the way it was supposed to be experienced, where it's like the first time you see it and you're like, oh my god, what is this? This is amazing. What is this video game?
It was mind blowing
Right.
at the time. It was completely mind blowing, and like, I might have to get Maxwell to stop sitting on Game Boy.
Oh,
It everything made sense. Like the controller was fine then. I thought the camera was fine then because like I didn't know any better. Everything looked amazing. Get off your little brother. Oh my god. Oh my god. Maxwell, don't sit on him.
Maxwell takes his revenge.
He was just full on sitting on him. Oh my god, sorry, I had to remove my cat's butt from my entire other cat. Oh man. But yes, I played it the way that it was supposed to be experienced, and I played it a lot since then. I've played it on the 64 several times. Um, and I've played it other places too.
I mean, it's been on a lot of different systems.
It's been on a lot of different systems. Um, so like I played Mario 64 pretty regularly. And like I basically like I know where most of the things are and how to do most of the things, which was helpful for like walking you through things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Although a lot of it was just fun to watch you explore and see where the heck you ended up.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a fun game and I like it a lot and I've played it quite a bit. And so we have very different I guess experiences starting out with Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Very different.
It was incredible when it first came out. It was so incredible. Like
Sure.
everything
Like
was just
you can't deny that. Like that's a fact.
yeah.
The problem comes when like I don't think it's a game that's aged well. For people who are like seeing it for the first time, like and are playing it for the first time, like I don't think you can't replicate the experience people had in 1996 playing it for the first time now.
No, you can't. And I mean, like, I will 100% say that, like, Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey, much better games.
Right.
Much, much better games. They play better. They look better. They just function generally better. But like Mario 64 for the time was amazing. And like, I still enjoy
Mm-hmm.
playing it. I think that, and we've both talked about this before, like, that era of games has not aged particularly well.
No, like it's early 3D stuff is sketchy
Yeah.
is one way to put it because like a lot of companies didn't really know how to make 3D games in that way because they'd been making 2D games for so many years and everything. So they're just like I don't know, we're just throwing stuff out there and seeing if it works or not. I don't know. We'll try it, I guess. But it makes it so like a lot of those games, despite being like iconic or revolutionary, are hard to go back to.
Yeah. I mean, like, I will 1,000% every single time I would pick the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time to play.
Mm-hmm.
Same with
Which like
Majora's
they did
Mask.
work for that.
They did work for it and they made it so that it functions a lot better. And
Yeah.
so, like, I know that people are always like, oh, the 64 version of Ocarina of Time, that's like the definitive version. It's like, they did so many things that are quality of life improvements in the 3DS version. It's a lot better. I know that's a controversial statement, but it's a lot better.
I'm going to give you one statement that's the reason why Mario 64 is a bad game.
A bad game or has not aged well game?
A bad game, and it should not have existed.
Wow.
And that comes from Tetsuya Nomura.
Why would you ever put any kind
Because
of credence on what he says?
he said Super Mario 64 prompted the creation of the Kingdom Hearts series. So all I'm saying is that Mario 64 gave us Kingdom Hearts, and that's the reason that we should banish the game forever.
Alternatively, let's just ban Nomura and Kingdom Hearts.
No, we can't. That's just not how time works.
I mean, I think it's a more logical decision, and then you also avoid things like Final Fantasy 15 and like all the stupid stuff that went with like the movie and the anime and whatever else he decided to do with that, including the outfits that you could buy for like thousands of dollars. Just saying. Also, you wouldn't have had the weird retcon of like Cloud being like angsty all the time. That would have been nice. Advent
True
Children wouldn't
shame.
have existed. You know, I think that like if Nomura had stopped making games around like 2002, 2001, when did Kingdom Hearts come out?
Like 02?
So 2001, if he had stopped making games around then life would have been better.
No, he would have gone off to do something else and ruin some other medium. Anyways, we're getting off topic here. We're getting off topic here.
Are we?
Yes.
All right.
We're here to talk about Mario 64
Yes.
and not Mario 128.
Mario's dump truck of a butt. It's the second
Mario's
time.
pervert crawl.
His pervert crawl. It's the second time we've gotten to talk about dump truck butts this month.
It's true. Back-to-back
saying.
weeks.
Back-to-back weeks. Back-to-back. But yeah, the pervert crawl is quite a thing.
It's real good. Yeah, like there's so much you could talk about this game in terms of just like legacy, weird stuff, reception, all that sort of stuff, but I kind of want to just talk about it from my point of view of playing it, like trying to play it legitimately for the first time. And that is like I can see how people would like this game and everything, like the way, you know, it moves and everything, how like the levels are designed and all that sort of stuff, how it, you know, is just a complete overhaul from what you would expect a Mario game to be from Super Mario World to this and everything like that. I don't like I said before, I don't think the controls are that great. There are times where like you feel like you can see like the light at the end of the tunnel being like they're close. You know, there's just like something there. Like if there was just like they were fine-tuned a little bit better, like, man, these could be so good. But then you get to points of the game where you're just like, God, these controls are.
I think there's one thing that we can agree with on Mario 64, and that is that flying is terrible.
Yeah, not a good addition.
The flying cap is absolute hot garbage. The controls for it, not good.
It's true.
It's the worst hat.
I might even go to say that, like, because there's the 3 power-ups in the game, right? The flying hat, the vanish hat, and then the metal Mario hat, right?
Yep.
It's a real weak class of power-ups for a Mario game.
I mean, the metal one's pretty cool.
It gives you that cool song, but, like, when you compare it to, like, the previous Mario games, like, there's nothing here that's iconic. There's nothing here that, like, you're like, oh, wow, I really want to use that power-up. Like, all the other games, you know, had the big mushroom, the fire flower, the cape in Mario World, Tanuki suit in 3, like...
The boot that you could get in.
The boot. Like, none of that's here. Like, none of the charm of those power-ups are here. It's just like, I don't know, we kind of just made some stuff, I guess. I don't know. Shrug shoulders. So that's disappointing. I like the idea of the levels where, like, you can go in and kind of choose what you want to do in terms of, like, trying to get stars and everything. I think my only issue with that is that it also hinders you on level design because, like, you look back to previous Mario games where, like, there's so many different diverse levels and everything, and while they might have, like, similar tile sets of being, like, in same areas, quote unquote, like, you know, you're getting different stuff, like, you know, every level you go into, whereas with this, you pretty much are confined to each world, and they really don't do a whole lot to change up those worlds. This outside of, like, they do, like, things here and there, but it's not like you're going into a new level every time you go into that level. So you're losing out on a lot of, like, level variety, I think, when it comes to this game, because they really want to show off, like, the 3D components of the game and all that sort of stuff, which, like, obviously from a technical standpoint, you're not going to be able to make, you know, 50 different 3D levels for this game and make them all good. Which is, they probably compromised to be like, okay, we're going to make, you know, however many hub worlds are in this game, like 10 maybe? Something like that.
I think it's one of that.
Whatever. Well, like the small amount that they have.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll just make all of those seem, you know, pretty good, but we'll just, like, do a little bit of tweaks here and there once you go back in and have to redo a level and
15.
do all that sort of stuff. So, I think that's a little bit of a downgrade when you compare it again to previous Mario games. Because, like, there could have been some, like, interesting things with, like, you know, a whole lot of different levels. But like I said, I think the way they wanted this game to be such a 3D showcase, you can't really do that if you have a lot of levels, because like you're basically sacrificing design and intriguing choices to do within those levels if there's so many levels. Whereas if you have a smaller amount of levels, you can make good hub worlds that allow you to go back in and do certain things here and there.
And I mean, some of the hub worlds do change, or some of the worlds do change. Like the
Yeah,
Wamp's
yeah, yeah,
Fortress, after you defeat him, he becomes a tower. Jolly
yeah.
Roger Bay, like your first task is to like go to the sunken ship, and then that like rises up in the next one.
But it's not like you're
Um,
getting completely different levels each time. It's like they'll do subtle tweaks here and there, changes here and there, but it's not like, oh, here's a just completely different level in this hub world.
right. I mean, like I'm trying to think of the other ones that change. Like I think that there's some really creative stuff, like the wet dry world is a really interesting one, because depending on where you jump into the painting, like changes how the level's gonna look. Um, so like if you jump at the very, very top, like the water is going to be at the very, very top, and that changes what you can interact with. Same with like if you jump at the medium, water is going to be at the medium. Jump low, it's going to be low, and it changes what you can actually interact with when you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Same with like tiny huge, which I'm noticing, like wet dry, tiny huge. Tiny huge, depending on which painting you jump in, changes like how you can actually interact with that world, because if you're in the tiny version of it, Mario's massive and like can completely obliterate like large portions of the world. But if you're in the huge version of it, you're tiny, and like everything else is big. So like there are some variations that I think are really creative and fun. Like Tiny Huge is one of my favorites. I love Tiny Huge. Um, it also works negatively in some cases, like TikTok clock. Depending on where you jump in the clock, like on time, um, it'll either be a very speedy clock and everything in the world moves very, very fast. I don't like that. Or it stops time and then nothing's moving. So like you can't access certain parts because you can't move, like you can't have certain elements that you need to climb to move. So like TikTok clock is probably one of my least favorites. TikTok clock and Rainbow Ride are my least favorites, I think. But anyway, there is some variation there, and I think that like considering what they had to work with here, like they did a pretty good job
Right,
trying
like
to
I'm not
make
saying
it interesting.
I'm not saying there isn't. It's just like when you look back at the other games, like there's so many different levels that you get to go to. So like having such a smaller subset of that kind of is a bit disappointing.
But it kind of became like the way of Mario games after that. Like
Of 3D Mario games.
yes, yes,
Because
yes.
they basically continued the more level focused, or like I guess more diverse level focused idea when they would do 2D Mario stuff here and there. Similarly to how Ocarina of Time basically became the Zelda formula.
Which was based off a Link to the Past.
Right. But also like that was like it um, but like Zelda games going forward did definitely take a lot from Ocarina.
Which
All I'm
took from Link
saying
to
is
the
that
Past.
the N64 ruined Mario and Zelda
Um,
because it was a bad console.
no, it's not a bad console. Majora's Mask existed and it was amazing.
Bad controller. That's right.
I mean,
Can't argue with that.
You don't have three hands? Come on.
Sorry, I threw my third hand away.
Dang it. And that's what you needed to make the 64 controller work properly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it works better for me than a lot of controllers, but like in retrospect, it's not a good controller. I admit that.
No.
But like at the time it was fine. I didn't hate it.
It seemed okay. So here's something I was thinking of the other night.
Okay.
It is baffling to me that Nintendo got the basic controller layout that we use today right with the Super Nintendo,
Mhm.
and then abandoned it for like 15 years until they're like, oh right, we made a good controller layout. We should just use that again.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with them?
I mean, a lot, but
What is wrong with you people, Nintendo?
a lot.
You made a good controller. You don't mess it up.
Mm-mm.
Ay, ay, ay.
No, I
But
mean,
yeah,
like, people will argue up and down for the GameCube controller. No, no, no.
that's a
Super
pervert's
Nintendo
controller.
Joy-Con controllers, much better.
The Joy-Cons aren't really that much better, I would say. But also, like, I have big hands, so those are very tiny. But for you, they would be good.
It's
For me,
the
I'm just like,
perfect
they're
controller for me.
tiny. They're tiny.
Perfect controller
small.
for me. Put it on the little dock and it's just fabulous. It's the perfect size controller.
Hurts my hands after a while.
I love it. The other controllers hurt my hands after a while because they're too big.
Well, you get bigger hands.
Well, I can't. This is what I was given. My body said you get tiny hands. I'm like, well, all right then. Can't like eat a bunch of carrots and make my hands grow, even though I don't like carrots. I tried that
Right.
with my vision and it didn't work.
Well, it's because carrots are bad.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're
They're
gross.
real gross.
Grody.
Anyways, Mario 64.
Mario 64. You caught a rabbit.
I caught a rabbit and you got real mad about it.
I'm so mad about that still. I don't understand.
I'm a Mario expert.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you a secret about that.
Okay.
That I rewatched now. I realized what I was doing. So I went
Okay.
around that corner, blindly dove, and was like, that'd be funny if I caught it like this. And then I caught it like that.
Yep.
I'm a Mario expert.
The Boo one is also just bananas.
I feel like that one's more dumb because it's just like stupid.
You just like slid off of the middle thing and killed him with your butt.
Yeah.
Like it's not an attack or anything. It's just a slide.
It wasn't even something I was doing intentionally. It was just like I went up and it was like, oh, okay, I guess I win.
So funny.
Skill. Mario expert.
Oh man. Yeah, but also like wall kicks were hard, so
Well, it's because I didn't understand them.
yeah, that's fair.
I
were good at it once you
didn't read the
figured it.
instruction manual, which obviously didn't come with this. So
To be fair,
I took wall kick very literally.
to be fair, they do explain it on one of the things that you were given. You just didn't read any of the instructions.
What am I, a reader? I'm here to play games. I don't need
You
no
have an
reading
English
my
degree.
games.
You have an English degree.
Yeah, I can speak the English language. That's what it tells you.
Oh no. Does that mean I can't because I have a history degree?
No, you can only speak historical.
No. Okay, well dang.
Ye old English.
The ye old English. I'm gonna talk to you in ye old English about Mario
Ye.
64. Oh no. Bringing in Jared and Al now. I was gonna, but yeah, that is in the instructions at one point in the game. It tells you how to do it, but you didn't read that, so
I think I did read it, but I still misinterpreted it.
that's fair.
Because the way I thought it described it was that like you would just, if you wanted the wall kick, you would jump and punch the wall. And that's what I kept doing. I was like, this isn't working. I don't know how to do this. And then something in my brain like snapped, and then it was just like, what if I had to just jump off the wall? And that's how it works. And then I did it, and I was just like, oh, okay. I guess that's how that works.
Well, and you skipped the snow level.
Yes.
And that one specifically has a wall kick star that you have to get.
Well, that's the game's fault for letting me explore and be a menace and go wherever I want. And be like, okay, I did the first level. I'm going to go to the 8th level now.
Yep.
That's the game's fault, not mine.
I'm gonna go fight Bowser twice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one that changes. The board Bowser Substar
Yes.
in Dire Dire Docks. Dire Dire
Yes.
Docks is completely different after that because the sub leaves.
Well, he ate his sandwich, so he had to go. Gave him the poops.
Oh no. Oh no, poor Bowser. He's he's quite interesting looking in Mario 64, isn't he?
He is. I mean, I think he's more interesting looking in like Mario Kart or Mario Tennis.
Mario Tennis, he's a menace.
He's a menace. He got his tan on.
He's orange and he does some kind of weird thing on the menu. Maybe not as weird as Donkey Kong, but still a weird thing that he does on the menu.
It's real messed up.
Real messed up. The Teds also look a little bit different in Mario 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
And
everything's
some of
kind
them
of
give
funky.
stars.
Just because, like we said, this is their first real big foray into 3D games. Like, obviously, they had done stuff on Super Nintendo with, like, 3DFX chips and all that sort of stuff. Like, this is their first, like, real big, like, we're actually, making a fully realized 3D game. And
right.
with that comes the fact that, like, some of the models are going to look wonky, which, like, I think everything from that time period is going to have that problem. I mean, like I said, look at, like, the difference between Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IX when Square was like, I don't know, we made these blocky ass looking characters, and then by the time you get to 9, it's like, hey, we actually know how to make characters in this engine
like
on this hardware.
Look at these Popeye arms. Everybody has Popeye arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
They do not have Popeye arms. That's not how arms usually work. You didn't have to make them that blocky, my dudes. But yeah, there's a huge difference between 7 and 9. 9 is very good. People should play 9.
I think if they had put out like a sequel to 64 on the 64,
mm-hmm.
the quality of like the models, the art style, and all that stuff would have taken a like significant jump. Maybe not a significant jump, but like it would have taken at least a pretty big jump.
Right. No,
from,
I
like,
agree.
what it looks like in here to potentially what it could have looked like in a sequel or whatever they would have done.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you.
Because they were, I guess, making a quote unquote sequel for the 64 DD, so
yeah,
that would have also given them more power to do better art stuff and, better modeling and all that sort of stuff. So you would hazard to guess that it would look a lot better.
You would. To be fair, you didn't see her, but you probably have because you've watched videos. Like,
yeah,
Peach doesn't look that bad. Peach really does not look that bad in this.
Yeah.
In terms of like 3D models, she looks pretty okay.
Yeah.
So like, they're not all bad.
No, but like it is obviously a game from 1996, so like you're not going to look at that and be like, this is really good 3D era modeling and art style. It's like, not. It looks a little funky.
This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
It looks a little funky here and there.
No, I agree with you. I do think the funny looking Teds are fun though.
Yes, and they're invisible.
They're all, for some
and
reason.
Then like, hey, we're stuck here. I'm like, cool, whatever.
Give me your star.
I'm out of here.
Amazing.
This game should have given you a Far Cry ending where, like, as soon as you go in and Bowser tells you to leave, you just go back, you turn around and leave, and it's like, oh, game over, credits.
You did do that.
Yeah, but it should actually make that an ending.
Oh.
Just rolls credits as soon as you like leave the area.
Oh my god. Bowser's like, nobody's home. Okay, well, I guess I'm out.
See you later. Guess I'll come back later.
I was promised cake.
I was told cake was here.
Cake?
Oh, we're waiting on the baker to bring the cake. Come back later.
No, Peach made the cake. She said she made us cake.
Maybe she ran out of. She ran out of ingredients. She had to go to the store.
That's fair.
He's like, oh no, I guess I'll come back later.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
Oh boy. So is there anything you actually do like about this game?
I mean, like I said, I think like there are times when the controls, like, you really feel like, oh, there's the possibility like these controls could be really good. Like, I understand like why people still play this game to this day, like why it has such a big speedrunning like presence and community and all that sort of stuff. Because like I feel like there's, like I said, there's points where like you feel like, oh man, there's something here, but then there are other times where I'm just like,
Like the flying cap?
yeah. Also, like turning around's just not good. It's very more camera based, and like that's just not great. I think it is one of those things that, like, if I had seen it and experienced it, firsthand when I was younger, when I was, 6 years old in 1996, like, yeah, I would have been blown away and thought this game was just the cat's pajamas and been amazing and all that sort of stuff.
It was
But,
the cat's pajamas.
for me coming to it later and obviously seeing videos of it and all that sort of stuff, like, I can't have that same experience. Like, it's just impossible for me to have that experience that like you've had and so many other people have had.
Right.
So like, it's one of those things. So like, I have to look at it. I can't look at it through like rose-colored glasses and be like, oh well, put myself in 1996 shoes and think how I would feel. Like, that's just impossible. But like, I can come to respect it as like, this, iconic revolutionary game. And like, I mean, obviously that's been a thing that, it's always been the case. Like, despite what I've ever said about it before, like, it's obviously something like I can respect and all that sort of stuff. So with all that being said, I think it's still kind of a meta game.
Do you think it's a bad game, or do you just think it's a game that could have like aged better?
I think if it had aged better, it would be a much better experience. I think the problem with it is the fact that it is a 3D game from the mid-90s, and that is something that just hurts it so much.
That era just did not age well.
3D game from that era. Like,
yeah.
I think maybe if it had come out later, or like
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, or like that if the Mario 64 DS version had like been like a revamp of it and done like stuff that they did for the Ocarina of Time version on 3DS and the Majora's Mask release on 3DS, like, I think that could have given it like a different life than it has right now, which is very, I think one of the things that's interesting is that they never really tried to do that outside of that DS remake, quote unquote.
Right.
That they've not tried and done like a quality of life re-release of it, especially because when they put out that, what is like the 25 anniversary or whatever, 35 anniversary collection of the 3D games, like, they didn't do anything to
it. Nope.
So like, I think if they had ever done that, or if they ever want to do that, I think that would make the game better and give you a better experience than what you get now with just the base 64 version, which is basically the only version you can really go out and play that's readily available. Like, obviously the DS version is still out there, but it's going to be a lot harder to find, and it's probably going to be the version you're not going to want to play.
No, it's not the version you don't want to play.
So like, I think if they had ever decided, hey, let's do some work to this, let's make the camera work a little bit better, make the controls just, function just a little bit better, I think you could take away the argument that it's aged poorly.
Mm-hmm.
However, with the way it is now, because they have not done that work, and the way we have to play this game is the N64 version, it's just a very rough game to go back to if you don't have that nostalgia for it, or have had that experience with it in the past, and you're coming to it with, fresh eyes, or like, not necessarily fresh eyes, but like, of it but never played it, or whatever scenario you want to bring up that is just, you don't have the experience having played it 25 years ago. It's not to say it's like unplayable or anything. It's just one of those things that, you have to know what you're getting yourself into with this era of games in particular.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we played Mario 64, not Mario 64, Mario Kart 64. And And we were both commenting on the fact that like those models look terrible when they're doing the like award ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's like they took the idea from the Super Mario Kart and just like haphazardly made 3D models of those models, and we're like, I don't know, I guess this is good.
So yeah, there are definitely things on that was like, oh god. So like the 64, it had moments where things definitely are rough around the edges.
I mean, the 64 itself was not a console that you look at and go, wow, look at these amazing looking video games. Because
No,
it just didn't have the
it's true.
power to do that.
It did not.
You know,
Unless you put the
having
little thing
cartridges
in
still
there.
compared to two other CD based platforms, like you're going to be behind the times.
Yeah. I still love my 64.
Well, yeah, of course, because you're a pervert.
What? Don't call me a pervert. My goodness. It's a mean thing to say.
I joke.
Not pervert.
I mean, we're gonna finish this at one point.
Yeah.
Because I wanna get through to the end, and it'll be a fun time just goofing off and chit chatting while we do that. I do want to.
Yeah, I was having a blast watching you play.
Yeah, because I'm just a menace, and you're like just yelling the whole time, like, "Oh God, you're gonna die! You're gonna die! Oh God, why are you doing this? Oh God!" Because I'm just wild, and I do want to play through Paper Mario because that's a game I've also been interested in playing, and I've like bought on other consoles and just never played.
That game's fun.
I think that's gonna like hold up better than this does. Obviously, because it's not a 3D platformer, that's going to help it, and also having a 2D style of art again is going to help it. Hey, you know what? Again, I think we said this before on this show prior to this, but like, yo, 2D games on the 64 and the PlayStation were great looking art styles, and they just never did those because 3D was such a big fad. Not fad, but like it was the popular choice at the time.
Correct.
It's a shame that there was less 2D games out there when that they looked so good on those platforms.
I agree.
Such a shame, but regardless,
I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait for you to play Paper Mario. It's a really good game.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
And it's like a JRPG of Mario. Like, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Super Mario RPG.
I mean, have you even played that?
Like a little bit.
Oh my god.
It's one of those things I'm still surprised they didn't put out on the Switch, but I think they've stopped caring about the Super Nintendo and Nintendo portions of the Switch Online stuff, so.
Yeah, I think so.
Considering they're only putting out one N64 game at a time.
Yeah, they would have to work with Square Enix as well on that.
I mean, they worked with Square on the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's where I played Mario RPG last year, was on my Super Nintendo Classic.
But Nintendo's a weird company, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's an understatement.
Shrug shoulders on that.
Anyway, look forward to hearing our Paper Mario podcast at some point.
At some point.
It'll take us a bit.
Yeah, I would assume so. But yeah, Super Mario 64 is a video game.
Mm-hmm.
L is real 2401.
What?
That's on the statue. Luigi is real. He's in the game. Go unlock Luigi.
Oh, no.
I do like this statement on the Wikipedia page that says, in 1996, IGN offered a prize of $100 if a player could find Luigi. To no avail.
Oh my god. It's because he's not there.
A sultry $100 prize.
Woo! You know who is there, though?
Ted.
Ted is there. Do you know who the secret character is?
Mario with the blue hat from Mario Tennis.
No.
Koopa Troopa.
No.
Donkey Kong Jr.
No.
Bowser.
Bowser's in there, but that's not who I'm talking about.
Waluigi.
No.
Birdo.
No.
Jumpman.
No.
Yoshi.
Yoshi!
That's another reason why this game's bad. Yoshi's not here.
He is in
Actually,
there.
that's not true.
That's what I'm telling you. Is Yoshi's the secret character?
Well, give me Yoshi.
Well, you have to
I
get
want
all
to
the
punch
stars
Yoshi in the
first.
back of the head.
You have to get all the stars, then you can have Yoshi.
Well, we're not doing that.
Oh no.
It's too much work.
Ripperoni. So if they had given you $100 for Yoshi, then like somebody would have gotten $100.
Yeah, but that's like in the game, so like you can't do that.
Yeah, they knew. They knew. They knew they didn't have to pay up.
True.
Jerks.
Oh boy. Anyways, Mario 64, it's a video game.
It's a video game. We've been having fun playing it.
I've been making Al's life miserable by just being a Mario expert and, like I said, doing very apparently scary jumps that she thinks I'm going to die from every time.
Oh my god, very scary jumps. And
just like,
going
"Yay."
completely in order.
Yeah. Why would
So
you play
out
the game
of
in the right order? That sounds boring.
I mean, to be fair, you did go to the Boo area, and I do love the Boo area.
No, and boo.
Boo. You basically like went from Boo to the fire, did one thing in Hazy Maze, and there's like, all right, cool, I'm done. Gonna go hang out with Bowser now. It's like, oh my god, you've done like one thing in the Womp Fortress.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing you did like to completion, well, you did Boo, the fire, and the first world. I think those are the only ones you've done to completion, right?
Sounds right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
You like noped out of the desert one entirely.
I was like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yep.
I know this level's
Yeah, that one.
I'm out of here.
You can go in the pyramid though. That's fun.
Yeah, but I have to cross the sand.
You can't cross the sand. You have to cross the metally thing with the box.
What if same difference? I do like how Nintendo Power did not give Mario 64 a perfect score.
Wow.
They gave it a 4.45 out of 5. And I want to say that they knew about this game because they gave, for play control, a 3.8 out of 5.
Oh,
They knew.
snap.
They knew. Shouts out Nintendo Power. But yeah.
I mean, it's flying cap. That's all it is. The flying cap's bad.
I mean, that also falls under camera control, the movement being a little funky here and there. Should have maybe dropped that down to maybe a point or two, maybe like a 1.8 out of 5.
No.
I think that's a little bit more fair.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I'll eventually finish that and then cross that off the list.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. But that's going to do it for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about some news. We talked about an old game. And now Al will go sleep.
Yeah. And by the time you listen to this, Jared will be 32.
That's too many years.
Dude, I'm older than you.
Like I said, too many years.
Rude. Anyway, happy birthday, Jared.
Thanks, buddy.
Yay!
What else? What other games are turning 32 this year?
Oh my god.
Let's check it out.
Oh my
This
god.
page decides to load. 1990 in video games. Because they are video games. There's too many pages. Oh god, so many things. Why am I getting a help button? Why did I hit the help button? I didn't hit the help button.
Help!
Help! I need some help.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
The Super Famicom is because it will turn 32.
Oh, snap.
The Game Gear turns 32. Metal Gear 2 turns 32. And of course, one of the greatest games of all time, Super Mario World.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Important things
Hmm.
came out in 1990. Me, the Super
Yep.
Famicom, and Super Mario World. And also, hang on, there was something else I saw. But this page is going to load again. Oh, God. Why did I do this? Why did I do this to myself? Oh, okay. It's Final Fantasy 3. I don't care about that.
Wait, the
not
actual
the good.
Fantasy-
No. Actual Final
okay.
Fantasy 3, not the good one.
Okay. Right. That one was later.
So there you go.
That's it?
What?
Those are the only things that came out?
That's
were
the only things that
interesting?
matter.
Okay, that's
Only
true.
things that matter,
Okay,
according
that's
to me.
fair. All right, I believe you. You have good taste.
Thank you. But that's going to do it for this episode.
Mhm.
So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared and Al Watch. You'll also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a wealth of bonus content as well. Next week, we'll talk about something else, and hopefully there's no weird, wild video game news that we have to be like, oh God, what's happening?
Yeah.